You think Americans can handle the UK being better than them? Well, think again. From tea to queuing, from history to humor, Americans often walk into the UK thinking they know it all, and leave utterly confused, frustrated, or downright shocked. And today, I'm showing you the proof, real, undeniable proof, that sometimes the UK just leaves Americans speechless, and not in a good way. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, like my video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next update. Let's start with something simple. Food. Americans walk into the UK expecting familiar fast food or oversized portions, but instead they get fish and chips wrapped in paper, a full English breakfast that looks like it could feed a small army, and yes, beans for breakfast. Some Americans try to smile and nod, but deep down their brains are screaming, "Wait, what do you mean baked beans are breakfast food?" One guy even asked if ketchup was a standard condiment for eggs. Spoiler alert, it's not. And the more they try to compare, the more the UK just quietly proves it knows what it's doing with food. Proper portioning, proper seasoning, and surprisingly, everything actually tastes like something your grandparents would approve of. Then there's the public transport. Americans, used to wide highways and endless free parking, get on the tube and suddenly it's a panic attack. Standing on the left, walking on the right. Oh yes, the sacred rules of escalator etiquette. Miss a step, and locals are glaring like you've personally insulted the Queen. And don't even get them started on train delays. They're polite, apologetic, and somehow still on time most of the time. Americans expect chaos, they get efficiency, and it breaks them a little inside. Sports is another battlefield. Football, or as Americans insist on calling it, soccer, is treated like religion here. Fans are passionate, loyal, and shockingly knowledgeable. Meanwhile, some Americans are still trying to explain why the Super Bowl is more important than the Premier League. And the faces they make when someone says Arsenal beat Manchester United or that was a classic FA Cup upset are priceless. Shock, confusion, a little bit of envy. The UK doesn't even have to try. It just exists, and Americans start sweating. And let's talk manners because, oh boy, this is where it really hits home. In the UK, saying please and thank you isn't optional. It's law. Queuing isn't just a polite suggestion. It's sacred. Step out of line and prepare for a level of passive-aggressive judgment that Americans have never experienced in their lives. Some try to argue, well, in the US, we're friendly. But friendly isn't standing politely while strangers get on first. The UK sets the bar, and Americans often realize too late that they've been culturally outclassed. History? Americans are full of pride, and rightfully so. But the UK has castles, centuries-old churches, revolutions, kings and queens, and streets that literally tell stories of 500 years of human drama. Americans visit, expecting history tours like a Disney version of the past, but instead, they get authentic historical layers. Buildings that survived wars, streets named after battles, pubs where Shakespeare might have had a pint, and suddenly they realize maybe their country is young, just young. Even the humor hits differently. Americans come in with slapstick or over-the-top sitcoms, but the UK hits with dry, sarcastic wit that requires a full cognitive load to even register. One simple line about a tea shortage can have a Brit doubled over in laughter, while Americans blink, nod, and try to Google what just happened. It's subtle, it's clever, it's devastatingly effective. And yes, the UK laughs last, always. And then there's the weather. Americans expect sunny skies or dramatic seasons. The UK gives them gray clouds, drizzle, and the occasional sun that everyone treats like a national miracle. Americans complain, it's always raining. Brits smile, nod, and continue sipping their tea. Perfectly comfortable. The more Americans complain, the more the UK just proves its point. We don't need sunshine to be happy, we just need perspective. And maybe a good umbrella. By now you're probably thinking, okay, maybe the Americans can take a few wins here. But here comes the proof they really can't handle it. The British sense of calm superiority. The quiet confidence, the polite yet firm responses, the way people don't need to shout to prove a point. Americans walk in loud, proud, and ready to dominate conversation, only to find themselves outmatched at every turn. Politely outmatched. They stumble over words, try to defend themselves, and the UK just smiles and nods, letting history, manners, and culture do all the heavy lifting. And here's the kicker. Social etiquette. Americans try to compliment, offer over-the-top friendliness, or talk loudly about themselves. Brits, they notice everything. They know when someone is bluffing, when someone is overcompensating, and when someone is simply overwhelmed. And the beauty of it? They never have to say it outright. The awkward silence, The subtle eyebrow raise, the faint chuckle, Americans feel it immediately. They're flustered, flabbergasted, and often a little humbled. Now, for the final part, the extra proof that Americans really struggle. Cultural immersion. They try to watch UK TV, they try British slang, they attempt pubs, they even try to queue. But somehow, they always get it slightly wrong. They mispronounce things, they misunderstand humor, they don't know the rules. And the UK, as always, quietly excels. It's like showing up to a chess tournament thinking you're a prodigy, only to realize everyone else has been playing for decades. So, the next time someone tells you Americans can handle the UK being better than them, remember these moments. The shocked faces at tea time, the confusion on public transport, the awe in front of centuries-old history, the struggle with dry humor, and yes, the subtle social cues they can't read. It's not just that they can't handle it, it's that they don't even fully realize what hit them. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful. Because at the end of the day, the UK doesn't need to prove it's better, it just quietly is. And Americans, they'll keep trying, bless them. But every visit, every conversation, every awkward moment is another piece of undeniable proof. Some things you just can't teach, and some things you simply can't compete with. So, if you've ever watched an American try to explain why the US is better, or struggle with a British accent, or argue over football while standing in the wrong queue, just remember, history, culture, manners, and wit aren't things you can fake. And that, my friends, is proof. Americans can't handle the UK being better than them. Now, go ahead, drop a comment below and tell me your favorite moment when an American clearly didn't know what hit them in the UK. And if you've enjoyed this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a good laugh at the cultural clash. Trust me, the UK will quietly approve. But wait, if you think that's all, you're missing the best part. Because once Americans survive the basics, they hit the ultimate cultural landmines in the UK. And honestly, it's priceless. Let's start with slang. Americans think they know English. And then someone casually says, "Fancy a cuppa?" Or, "He's having a laugh," and their brain literally freezes. They'll nod politely, pretending to understand, but inside, chaos reigns. One tourist asked if taking the piss was literally bathroom-related. Spoiler, it's not. And the best part? The Brits just smile, because they know they've won without even trying. Then there's pubs. Americans walk in expecting a sports bar vibe, bright lights, and endless options. Instead, they find centuries-old pubs with history in every corner, locals who know everyone's business, and beer served properly. No oversized glasses, no gimmicks. And when they try to order a cocktail at 11 a.m., oh, the horror. The bartender doesn't judge, politely, but Americans leave realizing that here, drinking is an art, not a sideshow. And let's talk accents. Americans try to mimic British accents after watching a few movies, and it's usually tragic. "Hello, governor," they say with more confidence than skill. Locals smile, nod, and continue their conversation, leaving the American thinking they nailed it, until someone subtly corrects them, and the embarrassment hits like a freight train. But the crown jewel? The subtle superiority in everyday life. Americans might try to impress with bold claims or flashy stories, but the UK quietly dominates with everyday brilliance, well-run systems, rich history, clever humor, and yes, polite but firm manners. It's not loud, it doesn't brag, it doesn't need to. And that's exactly why Americans leave slightly baffled every time. So the next time someone tells you Americans can handle the UK being better, just think of this. Every cuppa, every cue, every dry joke, every perfectly timed cheers, and every subtle eyebrow raise is another gentle reminder. The UK doesn't even need to compete, it already wins. Every single time. And honestly, that's what makes it so much fun to watch. Because Americans keep trying, they keep comparing, and the UK keeps calmly proving, without breaking a sweat, that sometimes you just can't argue with centuries of perfection. So go ahead, comment your favorite part where an American clearly didn't stand a chance. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, because every cultural clash deserves